Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Day One Dev. Today we are going to talk about API management. So API management is, I think you might have used in your workplaces, either connecting to your backend services or the front end. So let's talk about the key features for API management when I'm exploring to replace a product within API management or uh, building a brand new API gateway. So there are some of key features I explored, and some of them are listed out here, which generally one of my always priority criteria to explore a product. So the first one starts with an API creation and management. So where I explore always see how easily I can create APIs, either using a Swagger or a JSON, or how do I easily I can publish, whether do I have to log into a system manually or do I have any CLI based command scenarios, right? So then I see how the endpoints I can create it, and how I can create my resources or methods, and how I can configure my routing rules within API management tool. So uh, API creation and management, it falls under developer portal. So I'll call out here, there are two primary components. It's going to be one for developer portal, where there you can publish your APIs, or users can subscribe to APIs. And the second place here is a API gateway, which I'm going to show you some high level architecture, how the API gateway is where it does all this integrations. So that's where our second key feature plays a role, security and access control. Who can access the APIs, and whether they're calling through the third-party products like Postman, or they're using a CLI based, or they might have integrated with their programming languages. So how they're going to do that on a security access control. So this is a one which we go back to OAuth 2, which we called out in one of our session. So the security credentials, what all it's going to support. And the third one is going to be traffic control and rate limiting. So where does the rate limiting plays a role is, for example, if you might have seen one of our example is on a credit card companies. They always give you some packages like a platinum customer. It comes with certain features. And if you're a gold customer or maybe a classic customer, always you have a different packages and different promotions part of that. So similarly in API gateway, you have that kind of a package they do most of our organizations to based on I've seen pretty much more like they call us silver, gold, platinum, or they might call us an different packages. So as part of a silver, they might give you a simple example here is they might say that you're authorized to access 2 requests per minute, or maybe hour, or maybe a day, depends on how they are grouping the product. And similarly, platinum, they might call out as you can access 1 million requests per minute or maybe hour. So that's how the throttling works here generally in whenever you access APIs. Then the fourth one comes to a request and response transformation. Do not consider this key feature is more like you're doing a transformation where you're replacing entire transformation of your data. But this has to be more like a simple one, because you do not want to overload your gateway or API management tool with doing a lot of our transformations. So keep it a simple transformation like JSON to XML, or your backend is expecting something XML format, but you want to your customers want to use only a JSON. Then this is a one simple transformation you can do it. Or if you are trying to combine certain things of a data and extracting something, and you're combining this is not the right choice. Generally offload that kind of a heavy compute transformations to backend systems, but not on our API, because it might impact your overall performance of other APIs. And the other one is going to be monitoring analytics. This is a standard to see if someone, your customers who's using this API management tool or APIs, they are might be complaining about saying that, oh, I'm getting a some 404 error, or I'm getting a 500 error. So it's easier for operational team to do some research, and analytics are also that maybe depends on your packaging, and you're monitoring your when you're doing a synthetic testing of your APIs, making sure that what is a SLA, you're getting it. And developer portal and documentation, this is as I called out in a creation and management, where as a consumer, they log into developer portal and they subscribe to your APIs, and they can look at your documentation, either you've been published in form of JSON or YAML format. Uh, it's easy, always it's easier for people to understand your payload and request and response. And you write some documentation, every key parameter you're providing there. You're going to have at least one line of a sentence. You're calling it why this has been called out. So one of the example I can call out here, if you have an API, it says first name, last name, and a phone number, you can call out as the first name is the person's first name, and you can give out some example like a John, and the last name similarly you can call out as this is a last name of a person, and as an example as a Doe. And you can set some also as part of that, you can set some regular expressions where API consumers, before you someone posts that payload and you're doing a validation or API gateway, so the customer also understands the format of your payload you're expecting. So that means you can say that is a string. The phone numbers can be all digital, or you can put in some regex as part of that regular expression. How you're expecting a phone number format, either it starts with a number or you starts with an open parenthesis, or what are the format you want to define it is for your organizational standards. Okay, and integration within backend connectivity. This is also, it's as I called out, all APIs is the front end where we set all this stuff and how easily you can connect to a backend. So here you might have certain backends, like there might be a SOAP based or REST based, or maybe database connections, or maybe event or streaming platforms like a Kafka. How easily you can connect, integrate it, and there is also a scenario where WebSockets can play a role for your API. So you might have seen in your mobile apps where you get some notifications. They are highly mostly used for WebSockets and a backend if some event has been triggered, and that will come back and post the data back to your devices, or it's a web application or it's mobile devices. So they go through as a notifications. So that's where it plays in backend connectivity is also a bigger uh, chunk of our work it's going to be. So the scalability and high availability, these are standard because your API gateway, you're working with your customers. The system has to be always up and running. And if you're getting an huge payload and you build an API which is pretty big, and it's going to go viral and a lot of people are subscribing it, then you need to plan for that scalability. So I'll talk about more high availability scalability on other platforms, on other products also. So that's but always you need this as one of a criteria when you're building an high usage systems. And lifecycle management, API lifecycle management is another key where you call out how you're going to publish your APIs. Always make sure that you're not breaking your customer contracts. I call that JSON and all. So one of our example is going to be is how you're publishing your first time your new version of API, and then how you're versioning it, and how you're planning to retire, and how you're going to deprecate it. So these are the four scenarios you have to consider all the time. It's up to the organizational team how you're doing it, but make sure that always you publish as a major versions for customers. But you don't need to call out minor versions as because customers are not going to change for every minor version of their APIs. So these are the certain key features. And now let's go to our high-level architecture, which I was talking about. So if you see here, most of our consumers, they'll connect to a developer portal. They get their authentication tokens, which is mostly a client identity secret. And you update your application, and you pass this client identity secret to your the IDP provider, which has been integrated with an API management. Then you get an JWT back from the IDP provider, right? So this also sometimes I've seen that the IDP has been proxied over API management, but it's up to you. You want to do a proxy or API management, or you want to call separate one. It's your call, how you're doing in architectural design. So once you get that, and you might be sending out a JWT for your APIs, once you get that JWT is passed, it does a certain validations here, making sure that you have proper resources, proper token you're sending out. And once that entire validation is done, that also it's going to be integrated with your IDP, validating the person is giving you right API secret keys, which is a JWT validator or not. It means it validates a signature, as well as sometimes depends on your organization how secure you are. You might be sending that JWT, and IDP provider is also doing a second check. So that's why you see a dotted line here. So once that your validations are successfully done, then you're sending out your calls back to your backend services. There might be a microservices or something else, right? So now it's coming to the products. What all the market leaders we have in the market? Some of our API management, and a couple of them are APG, and this is also a Google acquired some time back. So now it's a Google product, APG, and you might have seen APG Edge also, they call that sometimes. And WSO2 API Manager is another open source. This is highly built over Apache products, a group of Apache products. And another one is a pretty, became in a short time, it became as a very famous MuleSoft. It's called Anypoint platform. This supports API gateway as well as ESP work. And a Kong is also another open source product. So this is mostly developed by a community of developers all over the world. So, but I never use this product in my previous workplaces. But this is another competitive product if you want to use it. And almost every cloud provider has their own version of API managements. And also you can, most of these products also you can deploy over cloud providers as self-managed, or you can do it as well as SaaS providers. They do support most of these products. All right. If you have any questions, uh, post it on my the Google form which I provided. If you want to hear something new products, you want to learn about some comparisons, please post it on my description. Already provided Google Forms. Post it there, and I'll try to get that content for you guys. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.